Looking at these shots, many people's breath stops. Bad thoughts enter their heads, and they feel somehow uneasy. The death penalty in the United States is a legal punishment in 29 states. The traditional leader in the number of executions is Texas. In the USA, life imprisonment per person costs the state approximately $740,000. The death penalty more than $1 million. The money goes not only for lethal injection, but also for trials, appeals by lawyers, as well as for keeping a prisoner in prison for life using public money. 1 in 25 people sentenced to death is innocent. From 1973 to 2015, 156 people were released from death row in the United States with their charges dropped, including 6 in 2015. Also in the United States, there is a very long waiting period between the pronouncement of a sentence and its execution. Of the 25 people executed in 2018, only 3 had been on death row for less than 10 years. The minimum term was 7 years. 16 people had been awaiting execution for more than 15 years. 7 people had been awaiting execution for more than 30 years. In Alabama, Walter Leroy Moody had been awaiting execution for 22 years, becoming the oldest person executed in the United States since 1976 at age 83. Currently, the laws of various states provide for 5 methods of death penalty. Recently, since 2000, the vast majority of executions have been carried out by lethal injection. This method of execution consists of introducing a solution of poisons or potent substances into the body of the condemned person. The electric chair has been used extremely rarely lately. This method has not been used in the United States since 2013. However, in 2018 in Nashville, Tennessee, 63-year-old Edmund Zagorski chose this method of execution. In his opinion, such a death should have been faster and less painful. Zagorski was sentenced to death in 1984. He awaited execution for 34 years. The gas chamber is designed to kill people by poisoning them with poisonous or asphyxiating gas. The last time the gas chamber was used was to execute 37-year-old Walter LaGrange in Arizona in 1999. Ronnie Lee Gardner, who chose his own method of execution, was shot. He had a choice of lethal injection or execution. Gardner became the first death row inmate to be executed by firing squad in the United States since John Albert Taylor, who was executed by firing squad in 1996. Hanging has been used only 3 times since 1990, and all 3 times before 2000. As of November 2019, the last person to be executed by hanging in the United States is murderer Billy Bailey. At the age of 49, he was hanged on the grounds of the Delaware State Correctional Center in Smyrna. Each prisoner sentenced to death is given the right to have a final word, which is recorded using equipment. Third parties are usually present during executions. The number and composition of persons who have the right to be present at the execution varies in different states, but as a rule, relatives of the convicted person, his victims, lawyers, and the priest have this right. 2 groups are deployed to carry out the execution. One room is intended for the family and relatives of the crime victim. The other room is for the family and relatives of the convicted person. Each time, Measures are taken to prevent the relatives of the convicted person and the victim from meeting. At 6:00 p.m., about 5 people come for the condemned man and take him to the death chamber. By tying him to the couch, he is given the last word. After this, the executioner, whose identity is always hidden behind the wall, administers the injection through a special hole. After injection, death occurs on average within 5 to 10 minutes. On the death certificate, the cause of death is written as murder. After death occurs, an autopsy is performed. Then the body is released to the relatives of the executed person. If there are no relatives, burial is carried out in special state cemeteries. In most cases, there are no names on the crosses, only the individual number of the prisoner and the date of execution. By this number, you can find out that a certain Kenneth Allen is buried here, executed by lethal injection in Texas on November 17, 1998.